world seems harsh for an entrepreneur just starting out, with many difficult tasks like finding investors, gathering funds, nurturing a team, and building a product. Founders often are found overwhelmed and directionless. To relieve this tension, we at Goodfirms conducted interviews with successful IT companies and discussed trending topics as well as their impact on the IT industry. So, without any further ado, let's dive into the conversation. Goodfirms takes pride in helping millions of B2B tech companies find and promote software products and services. What Goodfirms is also proud of is that we are reaching many people through this podcast and therefore spreading knowledge that intrigues the 2V entrepreneurs. With this, I welcome you all to the Goodfirms Leaders Roundtable podcast. I'm your host, Suhana Bhattacharya, and today we have Niranjan Limbachiya, CEO of KiwiQA. Niranjan started his career as a senior quality assurance engineer and gradually has made contributions to various other initiatives around the world. He has been a board member of Red Line 13, Software Quality and Testing Association Australia, and so much more. Not just that, he listened to his entrepreneur calling with expertly, and since then he's been heading many successful companies simultaneously. The list is endless, truly. So thank you so much for joining in today. Anything that you'd like to add to the introduction, Niranjan?
No, I think Shwana, thanks. I just want to especially thanks Goodfarm for inviting me on this special session. Thanks for a quick introduction about what I've been doing. So yeah, we can kickstart our conversation.
The company, the KiwiQA, is so focused on giving quality testing to customers, and that's how the tagline also goes that we test it so you don't have to. Right?
Yeah, that's true. So if you look at KiwiQA, right? So we been in this business since last 15 years, and we've been working with startup SME enterprise across the globe, and we've been offering various product testing services, and we have quite good successful journey in terms of what we have to offer to our customer. Yeah, so KiwiQA is doing quite well. Yeah.
So testing has been around since 1950, but it has recently gone so many changes. So what has changed as per technological advancements, and what has changed in testing?
No, this is a good question. So the term testing has been around since 1950. But if you look at that has gone a lot of tremendous changes when early software testing was equivalent to connecting the compilation error and debugging of a program. But nowadays, that day has passed by. Programming concept that has changed to involve the workflow that were derived out of flowchart of the program. Look at advancement in identification of the workflow based on the users brought a paradigm shift in the perspective of the testing in mid-19th. So if you look at this brought a sea change in looking at the use case, main flow, alternative paths, subflow, combine the data that's need to be used. Technological advances were brought into a play to automatically test the application under test. This is not only help in speeding up, but also help in planning multiple cycles of test. With the advancement of frameworks, tools, and the automation testing took a really a new dimensions. So this also brought newer area like performance, security, accessibility, and many more other things under one umbrella of the testing. So to the modern day, testing has gone quite far in terms of AI, ML. Nowadays, people are a lot talking about Metaverse and a lot of other areas as a part of software testing advancements.
Right. As technology is changing, testing really have to broaden up so that it can include everything, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So in the past, development and testing were treated as mutually independent activities. They had limited interactions and they weren't actually involved in the requirement phase. So how this has changed? What has changed in making software an important part of the development procedure?
No, this is right. So if you look at in the past, development and testing were considered as a mutually independent, and hence testing was taken up only after development was completed. This was a classic waterfall development model. Classically, this could be looked at as quality control. The shift from quality control to quality assurance by introducing a V model help in improving the quality. If you look at in the testing team was introduced early in SDLC along with the development team, where testers come closer to the user environment, resulting in developing user scenario typically now called as a testing scenario. Also, if you look at shift left bootstrap approach, which really brought in a significant change. And this has defined, and which is including a test design, test execution as a two important activity, which is also, bringing in an area like system testing, integration testing, unit testing. So early testing lead to an early detection that really leading to improve quality.
Right. And I think it's all the more important to include testing in the requirement phase, because even the customer must know the importance of them, and also what will be the consequences if they develop a software of their demand, right?
Yeah. No, it is absolutely important, because we as a tester, we really need to focus on more product understanding. So if you as a tester have more understanding of the product, you can really bring a value to the product what companies are building.
Right. So you being the CEO of KiwiQA, so what testing approach does your company use?
So if you look at KiwiQA, right, so we really emphasize on more on the innovation where functional testing and automation. If you look at a functional testing, KiwiQA has a focus on conceptual framework like K resins for optimal test design with focus on coverage and end-to-end testing, which has enabled us to provide end-to-end testing framework to our customer. If you look at on our automation front, we have developed our own proprietary K-first integrated framework that's not only seamlessly integrated with the CI/CD tool, but that has also simplify and accelerate automation development, and which is again is a open source framework. So if customer would like to use a K-first framework which has been developed by KiwiQA as a part of tool, they probably not going to pay anything in terms of automation journey. If you look at non-functional testing front, performance testing really follow using a K-Spark. So K-Spark is a framework which KiwiQA has been using for performance testing services. And there are a lot of other framework which we have implemented internally, which really help our team for security as well as just to make sure the security check of the applications are under test. So there are various other framework which we have certainly put up as a part of our quality control. Having the combined this proprietary framework, KiwiQA puts in a strong governance model that engage the organization at all levels. So 3 levels of pyramid, giving a complete transparency with the required measurement and information at a very appropriate level to our customers.
Right, that's very impressive. And as KiwiQA has worked with a variety of clients from startups or to MNCs, so what is the difference between automated and manual testing?
See, if you look at manual functional testing, as the term suggests, basically it's a refer to a test process in which tester manually test the software application in order to identify the problems. So that can be referred as the bugs, defects, etc. If you look at automated functional testing, basically is the application of a software tools to automate a human-driven manual functional process of reviewing and validating a software products, where automation testers and engineer need to code the test scripts. Almost 90% of startups follow agile development methodology. So if you look at organization, either adopt in-sprint automation or follow-up sprint automation. So in-sprint automation really mandate the current sprint stories to be automated in the current sprint itself. This can be adopted where the stories requirement are stable, clearly defined. If you look at follow-up sprint automation is more common in a startup. Stabilization of implementation of previous sprint, this shall be automated in the current sprint. So hence, if you look at this for a startup, it's not the questions that need to be asked, but rather it has to be a combination of functional testing as well as the automation testing.
Right. And I'm so glad that you actually mentioned not just the difference between automating testing and manual one, but also what is better for startups. And it's just not picking the right one, but it's a combination of both.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
So what procedures should testing company follow in order to overcome the difficulties of adopting quality at speed in the face of growing system and data complexity?
See, if you look at testing company, really should adapt a best practice at every level of testing lifecycle. Quality at speed required a really great clarity at every stage. So while looking at agile, it's not enough to know the epic story, but also the relationship between those stories need to be understood. This is not only help in managing the change, but also help in knowledge based testing and then regression as well. So while designing a test case in accordance of validation criteria, it is really advisable to look at the key attribute participating in decision making and apply BVA, so which is called boundary value analysis, and ECP, which is called equivalence class participating. So combined with these two methodology, which will certainly identify critical data and associate the test cases. So this given a focused approach in a test execution and help attain quality at a desired speed.
And no software is pretty much immune to testing challenges, and metaverse is so much being talked about. So what makes software testing for the metaverse different than the other sectors or the other industries?
No, this is a really good question. So if you look at virtual reality and augmented reality and human interaction in a virtual space, that is called a metaverse. So metaverse takes the testing to a different space where metaverse give a peek in future with a real-time experience and need to be tested with a three different approach. So one is basically a testing for cybersecurity threat. Second one is testing of API, so that is also important. And third one is testing and immersive testing, which is generally involve heuristic logic for decision making and flow definition. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the gaming market has become increasingly competitive with no room for breakdowns or programming glitches, because people who are playing, they don't want to use a game which keeps breaking down or has problems in it. So is gaming testing any different from software testing? And if yes, can you please explain the difference?
Yeah, I think, see, if you look at gaming testing as a whole industry, right? So it is much more complex than normal application testing. So interactive game software testing is a highly technical field requiring computing expertise, analytical skills, competence, critical evaluation skills, and lot many other things. As a tester should have ability to take a split the second decision bearing which the game can take the user to the new scenario. In case of application testing, the ability to think from an end user perspective is very important. So tester has to have application domain knowledge, business critical scenario, and a dependency, and the ability to identify the right data. That is important.
Like to identify the right data and to understand the different critical scenarios is so much important, because gaming has various different kind of modules, and I think it requires different kind of testing.
Yeah.
So as new technologies are coming in and new businesses are wanting to jump on that technology, they can't go without testing, and they require good companies. So KiwiQA has been in the market for so long. So I just wanted to know how association with Goodfirms has helped KiwiQA reach where it is and how it has started. What is the difference? What do you see?
See, if you look at, we've been in a Goodfirm since many years, and we are quite active. We are asking our customer to put their testimonial in terms of what KiwiQA has done on a Goodfirm. So that's the one right strategy which we have implemented, where every customer KiwiQA is working, we are asking our customer to put their feedback on Goodfirm. So that's give really advancement in terms of what KiwiQA is doing to other people who are browsing and finding out the right prospect, right vendors for software testing service. On the other side, if you look at Goodfirm platform, is really quite mature, because we have quite few leads which we also been getting from a Goodfirm, where customers are engaging KiwiQA services, and when we talk to them how they got know about KiwiQA, they generally have all basic positive feedback from a Goodfirm, and they have done their whole pre-evaluation. So that is also helping us to close the deal much more faster, and then we can move with the customer very early. So I really appreciate that the kind of platform which you guys have built, and I wish you the best to entire Goodfirm team.
Thank you so much. I think we are so happy that we are such an essential part of your growth journey, and we continue to do the same.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you so much, Niranjan, for taking a time out for this podcast. I'm sure a lot of people will hear this and will learn a lot more about testing.
Sure. Thank you, Sona. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.